Sport Live. A very good evening. You're watching Bethlehem News Sport, and sorry for the delay. We did say, of course, that we were going to have a very important interview today with Mr. Johann Steyn regarding the safety and also the crime of Bethlehem here. As you could see, I have him here. And before we go anywhere, we would like to thank Verdeba for allowing us, of course, to use their facilities. And I'm with my partner here. I have Johann Steyn, and with Johann Steyn also. There's a lot of things that we're going to discuss today. We have seen that there's a lot of crime that has been happening here in our town. So therefore, let's go and start with it. Before I go anywhere, of course, I'll let everyone here introduce themselves, starting with you, my lady.
Yeah, so I grew up here. Many people know me as Suzanne, but I also go around as Kate Rook, singer-songwriter. And yeah, like you said, we're partners. We want to change our community. We want to get everybody involved.
Yes.
And that's why we're starting with these interviews. And yeah, there's so many things that we want to communicate. So
basically, we want to fix our town.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, I know my people are also not used of seeing me on camera. They know I don't really show myself. But with this great setup that we have here and everything, I think it was best that we do that. So, Mr. Steyn, you can also introduce yourself. I believe a lot of people know you from our town. You've been doing a great job. You know, before I even met you, I had already knew about you. I've heard about you, the good things that you've been doing, the neighborhood watch and everything. Tell us everything that everyone needs to know about Johann Steyn. Who's Johann Steyn?
Thank you very much. It's a privilege to be here. My name is Johann Steyn. I also grew up here. Was born here, went to primary school, went to high school here, met my friends here. We still live here. This is where we grew up. This is where we hunted together. So we came together. This is where we are. I went away, studied civil engineering, and left Bethlehem for about 10 years. While I studied, I joined the South African Police Force, where I served for about 8 years.
With the SAPS?
With the SAPS.
That's very important.
Yes, so while I served, I thought it would have been only my call of duty for 8 years. I would have served and it would have been over, and I couldn't be more wrong. So when I came back to Bethlehem, we realized that the crime in our town, in our country, resulted that we start doing it again. Only this time we started learning on how to do it as civilians. And this is how we got involved. So I'm still a civil engineer, consulting engineer at MVD Garib Consulting Engineers. But I got involved in safety about 3 years ago, and this is why we're here.
So our action plan starts with safety. That's the first thing that because the two of us sat together and we said, if we want to change our community and change our town, we can't spend money if it's not safe. So why safety first? Do you agree with us?
Nothing is more important than safety, we believe. Nobody spends money, nobody thinks about the future if they don't feel safe. A lot of people left because they didn't feel safe. So we started safety in our town believing that this is the most crucial point. If we all feel safe, we start doing things on how to make finances better and how to get together better. But if we can't get that right, we believe we've got a big problem, yes.
So you do agree with the safety first, because that's really our action plan. Of course, we need to make sure that safety comes first in our community.
We agree, yes.
Yeah, but now another important thing before we go any further now. We know a lot of community members feel like the police are not there, not working for them. People have lost trust in the SAPS. I think we have noticed that, especially if I can tell you in Bethlehem, because most of the incidents and scenes that we attend in Bethlehem, that's where I'm mostly involved when it comes to the police and the community, and people have lost hope in the SAPS. Do you think there's a reason, of course, behind the loss of trust from the community to the police?
Yes, I believe we do understand that. When we started 3 years ago with a community program with our neighborhood watch, we felt the same. And if I may summarize it, the police are measured against success. Okay. So as crime increases, the police looks like they are failing. Although there are many other factors that contribute. Economics, what is going on in town, people suffering more and more. So it's not just the inability of the police to prevent crime, but also on how they react to criminals increasing their activities. So we realized that the police needs us just as much as we need the police. And once we've started taking hands, it evolved, and we realized that we can trust the police. We've been working with them for the past 3 years, from constable, sergeants, warrant officers, up to the ranks of the higher ranks, the officers. And we haven't met a single officer that we did not trust. We realize that they are us. They are us. They are living next to us. They are part of us. They just wear a uniform, a unique uniform that serves. But they are still human. We still make mistakes, and it's incredibly difficult with our law. Our law was not written to take freedom away. It was written to protect each other. And while criminals exploit that law, it is difficult to get them really to answer for their crimes. And we have realized that our police are not on the wrong side. The individuals wearing the uniform are us. And as we started working with them in Bethlehem, in Botlekong, we worked for the past 3 years a lot with them. And we realized that these are incredible individuals. And that it's not a difficult thing. It's not an easy thing to try and convince public to trust a member. All we can say is, once you get to know them, once you start working with them and you realize how difficult it is, you immediately start trusting them.
I think also that the difficult thing for the person on the street is you hear, and that's also why we are starting these videos, to inform the public and to be informed ourselves. Me, for instance, you hear that there's only one vehicle for the whole of the town, and it feels like you pay taxes, and why why must there be a neighborhood watch that helps the police, for instance? Why are we the police?
We realized a while back, years back, when we started this program, that a police member cannot act if we don't act first. If there is a lack of complainants, the police lose their ability to act. If I took your phone right here, it would have not been a crime until you decide it is, until you make the case. And then the official or the policeman comes to enforce such a law so that I can be arrested, or what the case may be. These crimes go from Schedule A crimes down to minor crimes, and all of them have specifics to them. But if we as the public are not getting involved, don't make the cases, we are failing the police. When these cases are made, a lot of times the cases are made, and during the investigation, proof is not adequate, or people refuse to make statements or refuse to go and testify in court. Then such a case collapses. We realize that the necessity of a neighborhood watch is as a enhancement or to strengthen the police.
So you work with the police as a neighborhood watch?
We have made a decision. We don't work in any other way than with the police.
You just just mentioned a very important point now about us. You're saying that we have to give them a job to do, right? Now, when you are speaking about testifying and everything, people are scared these days to testify. There's even been a message going around saying whistleblowers must be protected. People feel like, I go there, I tell the police that, for an example, this person is selling drugs. The police go past that person, but there are some police officers who are allegedly sometimes involved in the money circle, whatever that person is doing. Now they go and tell that person, you know what, Johann told me that, Johann is the one who told us that you are selling drugs. Now Johann's life is in danger. Have you ever had such stories? What happens there? Is there protection for the whistleblowers according to the way you see it, since you have been in the neighborhood watch?
There are two ways that public inform the police of wrongdoing. The first one is where you receive a call, and you won't believe, in the past 2 years we received numerous calls from people we don't know. I received a call the other day from a lady that picks up the phone telling me that we've got people about to steal a car. I've never met her. I've never heard her voice before. Somehow she's gotten my number, knowing she can trust me. There are several police members that get the same. So there are two ways that any person reports a wrongdoing. First one is to say, I have seen or I have heard this. From there, the onus is on the police to get the information that will lead to the prosecution of such a criminal. Obviously, it helps a lot when such a person says, I have seen it, I will testify. I will put my not my
Name
life
behind
on my
it.
name behind it to say, I saw you doing this. And that stands very, very high in
But are
court.
they protected?
If a person says that, they are not protected. If you feel you need protection,
You have to
it
be
is
anonymous.
the anonymous call. We don't know who you are. We cannot phone you afterwards. We do sometimes.
But it
phone.
has got power.
It's
Anonymous.
got a lot of power.
So I believe, the great advice on this one is to rather call. Because people, sometimes the way they get in danger is they go to the police station and say, can I speak to these officers?
Yes.
Now, of course, we are aware that there are corrupt police officers around here, around South Africa. Let's not say Bethlehem, because now
Yes.
we don't really have proof of that.
Mm.
But people have believed that some police officers are corrupt. Now,
Yes.
for an example, let's say we have a corrupt cop in our police station. I walk in there. I said, okay, I'm looking for this police officer. I want to anonymously report crime. Of
Yes.
course, we are police officers there. We trust each other. After I leave, this person came here to report that this drug dealer is doing this and this and this. Now, there's one police officer who's working with them now to make a call. Hey, someone just reported you. There's a person driving this car. But if you make a phone call and say, police officers, I'm giving you this address, please, I don't want to mention my name,
Yes.
giving you the certain address, please go to this address and check what's going on there. I believe there's a behavior that is happening there, something
Yes.
fishy is happening there.
If I may ask this, is find somebody that you do trust. Find that person. We get people phoning us as Neighborhood Watch to say, I know you. I would like to tell you this information. We take it further. If it's workable, if it's not workable, we might phone back and say, can you give me a specific on this or that? That name is never mentioned again.
So if the person comes to you as Neighborhood Watch and say, okay, I've seen this. So when you go to the police officer, you're not going to say, I got this information from this lady next door, says she knows that this
They
guy
don't
is
even
saying.
ask that. It's not even asked. The information provided gives us the ability to plan our action on how to catch a person. There's a lot of thinking that goes after that on what needs to be done to catch such a person, because we cannot rely on the statement of the anonymous person that phoned in. That makes it more difficult. It is much easier when you say, I saw this man, I'll testify. And normally when it happens is, if the public is the result of a crime, meaning if I stole from you, it will be very easy for you to say, you stole from me, I will report you and I will testify against you because the harm was done to me. Drugs, for instance, is much more difficult. Drugs doesn't hurt a person. If you use drugs, you're not hurting me. But the result of all the drug use hurts the entire town. Eventually.
And
So yes?
No, and that's what I want to get back to, or I want to get to that, the recent things that happen in Bethlehem, that's really where people have felt they've distrusted the police. Why, in your opinion, was Tsele and CJ's houses protected? Like in that instance, the drugs, it affects the community of Bethlehem.
It is.
I believe, just to highlight what Susan just said, protected means that, I think you're talking about during the shutdowns, right? We've seen during both the shutdowns, the police would remain at their house. But remember now, CJ's house was banned in the presence of the police, so there was no reason for them to protect it. But before that, there was a video that was circulating of him that looked like he was chasing community and stuff. Now there was allegations that police stopped there and protected his house and stuff. Now let's go to the the previous shutdown there that happened at Taylor's place. The police stayed there. I was there. They stayed about 2 hours there at the place, guarding the place, because of course they were aware that community was mad and they might burn the house. But what's the reason behind that? Do you think you can enlighten us a bit regarding that? I believe that's what you wanted to say.
Absolutely.
If I might answer that, the police, we were working together, the Neighborhood Watch and the police. We were in the job together with the officers trying to handle the situation. They knew very well, if the police force withdrew from that house is burned. Any person in that house had serious threats to their lives because of the anger of the public. The owner of that house, the man that needs to protect it, who is not yet convicted at that time, has just been removed, arrested by the police, which doesn't enable him to protect his house. While the police knows that the people are angry, rightly so, but they are willing to take law into their own hands. And after committing a crime, arson, assault GBH, they would have to arrest such a person, which is much more serious than the alleged crimes against the person. So by doing that, they actually protected, in my opinion, the public who was standing there. By that time, emotions was very high. We lost a fellow Bethlehem person.
The emotions were really high.
Very, very,
They were
very high.
really high.
But if we know that if they did not protect that house at that time, that house would have been destroyed. Anybody that was in that house might have been killed. It is not the place of the police to right there and then decide, my opinion, that Cele is guilty. Let's call him on the name, that he was guilty. There's a whole process that must follow. This is our law. If we jump to conclusions, it means tomorrow we'll jump to another one. People stealing, then we would assault. We've got a lot of bundu courts going on. It is the same, it is similar, where emotions takes over, and because we believe the justice system is failing, that we result to our own actions to try and stop this.
Do you believe in our justice system?
I do believe in it. With my whole heart, we believe in it.
And you know it.
We have studied it for 3 years, and we believe that if a complaint is done properly, statements are written properly, you are willing to testify, we get cross-examined, we're standing in court, and criminals are being sent to jail. And different to what people believe, criminals do not want to go to jail. You can ask any of them.
Just to now that you've mentioned our justice system and stuff, there is this thing that stresses the community. I don't know if you are aware of it. You can just tell me if you're not. Where, you know, when a drug dealer, when someone that is alleged to be selling drugs is caught with drugs, first they have to take a sample to the lab, which is a very long process. How do you feel about that? This thing of the result of their drugs taking long to come back? Because we also asked the acting provincial commissioner who was here about 3 weeks back about that, because it's a serious issue that's really frustrates the community and the public, because now we have to wait for it, and sometimes it takes months for these results to come back.
It's definitely true. We are aware of that, and it's very frustrating for us as well, for every police member putting their life on the line to make the arrest and to get such a person released on bail or not released on bail in waiting for such a result. I know there are still some problems in the laboratories, in the time frames, but it doesn't alter the way that we handle the cases. In the end, we believe justice still prevails, although it does take long. Not only with the drugs, with ballistics, with drugs, with fingerprints, with DNA. There's a lot of things that take a long time, which we have no control over. If we allow that to make us negative in not acting with the police, in catching perpetrators, we are not going to make a difference.
And I think negativity comes down to what people feel every day. They don't feel safe. So do you think it's possible that we can get our town safe?
I definitely believe it. We have seen the reduction in crimes in the neighborhoods where we were involved by almost 40%. By the involvement of the community, and it's still a struggle. It's still a struggle to get people to immediately respond to seeing a misconduct or a crime, so that we call it alpha complaints. We immediately mobilize to such a complainant. We immediately circulate information. We assist the police, and there's a huge network. I must tell you that in Botlekong, in the dealings that we've had there by chasing criminals into Botlekong, Botlekong's people are much more helping and knowledgeable about these things than in our community, in La Provence, Jordania, Panorama. A guy can hide there. In Botlekong, they've got no chance. People are indicating with the fingers, allowing us to chase a person right to where he drops everything that is stolen, right to where he hides. We can see that the people of Botlekong are tired of the crimes, and they assist. And we believe just that to assist them in understanding what the process is, and the processes are from the police to Department of Justice into getting this perpetrator really suffer the consequences by law for his actions, would assist them and would provide them with a real whip that would scare the criminals in the long run. Yes.
Now, you have these neighborhood watches here in La Provence and Eureka. How do we take it to Botlekong? How do we get Botlekong safe? Because our vision and everything is like to get the town efficient and functional. It's everybody. You know, we are a rainbow nation. And I think with Bethlehem, we could be the first town that really our hearts is for everyone, from Bokhlukong to Bakenpark to Eureka. So how can we take the knowledge that you've got, or what you've done now, or seen with the Neighborhood Watch, and how you work with the police? How can we really take it to Bokhlukong? How do we get Bokhlukong safe? Are people there?
We have already engaged in community leaders, in meetings with your community leaders, whereby invited. We did not know that there are being street patrols being engaged as we speak. People walking in the street trying to make safe a neighborhood. We have invited them to come and join us on our patrols, whereby we can teach them the essence and the elements of what is needed to understand the misconduct. On what crime can you make a civil arrest? There are several, and people don't know that.
Yeah, the legislation, the law.
You don't really need, for a Schedule A crime, you don't need to wait for the police. Any Schedule A crime committed in your presence or told to you by the first person results in you having the full right to take the freedom away of such a perpetrator.
Can you elaborate more into that? I think our people need to understand
Yes.
that. Because what usually happens sometimes, people will make those arrests, then they will beat the person sometimes to death. I think you've heard about such cases. We've had several cases where people are beaten to death because they are found stealing certain things. Because again, these trucks, what's said about these trucks is that they smoke trucks, get addicted. They don't have money to buy trucks. They need to steal. They can steal anything. They can just steal something that you bought at 60,000 and go and sell it at 3,000, or actually not even 1,000, 500 rand. So just to get that. So when someone is mad, when people are angry, when they take out their anger, they don't mind killing a person.
Yes.
But if they could learn more about this arrest that you're talking about and how to do it, how to combat it the right way, make sure that the police are involved right and no one is arrested except the person who did crime there, it would really be important for our people to learn that.
We have studied into the act of the rights of a civilian, and I'll circulate that to you in writing. But much more important, it's not the law that you only need to know. You need to know how to enforce it, how to stay within the law. When a suspect commits a Schedule A crime, that is murder, rape, theft, any of those, there's a long list. You can go and Google it and you will find it. You have the right to take the freedom away of such a person. There is
as a civilian.
As a civilian can immediately take away such freedom. Such a criminal does not have the right to resist. This is not kidnapping. You can take the freedom away, you immediately inform the police, and they come and pick them up. If they are unable, we, with the security forces, there are several security companies doing a heck of a good job in our town.
I think you can mention them.
Yes,
just
Silent
to
Night,
because
Python,
they are doing
Wolf,
good.
Bethnet, Giant Security, Zentech. We work with all of these individuals. I hope I'm not forgetting one. And I mean, all of their operators on the ground are working tirelessly with us in the night, in Bokhlukong, in Bethlehem, together. So once a person is arrested by a civilian person, he is taken to the station, whereby your statement is taken. State then prosecutes that person, you immediately become a witness. And this is what people don't understand. Once the police arrested, or if I made a complaint, or if I made an arrest, the minute that state takes that person into custody, state prosecutes that person. He must be charged within a certain time. The detectives does that. I immediately become a witness. That's why we can't do this without the police. You hand him to the police. The police cannot do it without us. He needs me as the witness. From there, it's taken to the justice system, where the state prosecutor must see if the case and the witnesses and the statements given are good enough for him to put on the court roll, so that he can prosecute and then get this guy in front of a magistrate. So there are several cases where you, as an individual and as a private person, can make an arrest. And lots of these crimes that we are talking about in our town of Bethlehem are Schedule A crimes that we can resolve by taking away freedom. We try to avoid it by asking the police to come and assist us, because we don't want the guy to try and defend himself against a civilian person, because he knows if he overpowered me, he's free. When a policeman comes, there is a bit of fear still. That's why we try and work in more than one person, but there are laws protecting us and allowing us to look after ourselves.
True. Okay.
Yeah, so it's important not to take the law into your own hands for the...
That's what we always hear, of course. It's always said that you are not allowed to take the law into your own hands, but we need to understand the meaning that, okay, this is what it means, but you can make that arrest as a community member without saying you are taking the law into your own hands. Because I believe taking law into your own hands also means that you are not allowed to be assaulting that person. Am I
Exactly
right?
that. Yeah, exactly that. Once you have taken the freedom away of a person, you also have the responsibility to look after that person.
Okay.
He cannot fend for himself. He's cuffed, for instance.
So speaking of cuffs, are we allowed to use, let's say now, because handcuffs are for sale, but I've seen them being confiscated by the police if they find you with handcuffs sometimes. Am I allowed to have them, because knowing that we have a very serious high rate of crime, and I might need those handcuffs when I'm making such arrests that we are talking about right now?
You're definitely allowed to have them. They are being sold on the civilian market.
Yes.
There are different types of cuffs. There are cable ties. There are cable ties designed only to restrain.
Yes, yes.
Why we do a lot of training in this regard. Once you've taken the freedom away of a person, which is unlawful, it becomes kidnapping. So we see it in a very high regard, and we really train hard to know what the difference is.
So once you notify the police, you also change it from so that it's not kidnapping. You make them aware that I have a person now, I've arrested this person, I need help of the police so that they can come and take this person and go to the police station. This person gets charged, and I become a witness.
Exactly.
I write a statement there at the police station.
Exactly.
And when there's not police that can help you, you phone the...
Security companies, they are more than willing to assist. Yes.
No, I think now speaking, because we want to, the reason why you're also here is because we've seen how effective the neighborhood watch is in Bethlehem, and we do need that in Buhlukung. We need to reduce the crime statistics there. And another thing that makes it difficult, in Buhlukung we have a lot of people that would be walking at night. In town, when you see someone walking at 2 a.m., you'd be curious, like, where is this person going? But now in Buhlukung we have taverns. This person might be coming from a tavern that just closed at 2 a.m., walking home. This person might also be a criminal. Now it makes it a bit difficult to say, because you can find someone, like, I think about 2 weeks back I saw someone in the street next to mine, walking at night. I'm like, and it was a Wednesday. Where is this person going on a Wednesday? I asked him, where are you going? No, he didn't even mention a tavern. I'm from a friend and what and what. So, if we could have that, our community also understanding, if we have more people who would be our neighborhood watch, they should also respect them. They should also know that, okay, the movement of people won't be restricted, of course, but people must know that if you're suspicious, of course, you'll be stopped. If you're walking at 3:30, at 2 a.m., because usually the crimes happens from between 1:30 and 3:30, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yes.
What can you say regarding that?
People very soon realized that we hate the action, not a man. And it is difficult. We serve our people, from the guy living on the street to the guy living in a mansion. And it stays difficult where a person walks, and you've got two ways of asking a guy a question. You can ask the very same question by asking a guy, where the hell are you going? Or you can greet him and ask him, are you all right? Where are you going? Can we assist? Do you know it's dangerous to walk alone?
The way that things are done.
People are not stupid. They see the heart by the way that you communicate. And people very soon realized in our neighborhoods where we are involved that people may walk day or night. We ask and we test what you answer because we've got eyes everywhere that will test it.
And you're not on an ego trip, because I think that's also a difficult thing with civilians being in neighborhood watch. All of a sudden, I don't know, there's something in my heart that says I'm scared of somebody like trigger happy.
Yes.
That saying.
If I may say this, we asked everybody that wanted to join the neighborhood watch 2 things. Don't join it out of emotion. All right. After an incident occurred and there was theft, or you were the victim of a crime, suddenly a lot of people want to be in the neighborhood watch. When we had a successful arrest, we had a guy from Mozambique who went into the night. We've got great equipment, thermal imaging, we've got drones that we utilize, and we found this guy was jumping over the fences.
Okay, you mentioned that. I would love to hear about the equipment
All right.
that you guys use.
So we caught this guy,
Yes.
and all the people, we informed them on community groups, please wake up, stand by your window, listen to your dogs, listen to your beams, tell us when you hear something. And people came together very quickly, and we managed to apprehend this guy. He admitted guilt, and he was sent to jail. The important thing there is, directly thereafter, you can't believe how many applicants you receive that wants to be in the neighborhood watch. We don't accept emotional joining of a neighborhood watch.
Okay.
It must be your heart to serve, to be willing to enter into conflict with a person doing wrong. And then the more important thing is, after he's done wrong, after he's been sentenced or released, he's again part of your community. He must have the willingness to pick up the phone and ask me for assistance, although I might have arrested him a day ago, a week ago, or a year ago. And that is the same with the police. We can't hold grudges. We serve you. Even after you've done wrong, we condemn the action, not the man. After you come back from jail, we've had people being released now after a while, and they're back in our community. They know we know what they've done wrong, but until they do something wrong, we hope they never do. They are part of our community. We serve them.
Before we get to the equipment, if we can get a neighborhood watch or in Bethlehem, can somebody facilitate this type of training? Because I think it's important that there's maybe willing people that also has the heart, but not necessarily the knowledge in terms of all of this. I
opted to facilitate in Bethlehem. I've worked quite a lot with the Sotho people. I speak Sesotho. A lot of my friends are Sesotho, and I worked with a lot of them. I realized we have quite a few culture differences in the way to communicate, in the way that to pay your respect. I've opted to assist in the training of these people. I've created the Neighborhood Watch in Bethlehem, and our teams are very strong. Now, we've got leadership teams in our Neighborhood Watch, subdivisions in information, in operations, in assistance, in crime prevention, in patrols, and I've availed myself for this year to only facilitate training in terms of law and the community, to try and change the hearts back towards the uniform. I believe the police uniform has never made a mistake. A person wearing it might have, for different circumstances. But I hope to change the hearts towards the police. And once that's done, once you understand the elements of a crime and what is needed to get a successful prosecution, you will realize that our police are struggling with the same things. So yes, to answer you, we would like to facilitate. We've discussed it with the community leaders so that we can start with that. We've invited them to come do patrols with us, see what we do, see how we do it with the police, see how the police are working with us, and we still make mistakes. And we still go to jail, and we still get prosecutions not in our favor. We still get thieves walking free. And we take the knock on the chin and we say, don't do it again. You've seen that we've learned from this mistake. You'll not walk away free from our technical mistake again. And to answer you, yes, we can. And if anybody that is willing, please start talking to your community leaders. We are going to facilitate it this year. Yes. Yeah.
So, because I know now people are watching, I can see we have people watching here, and there are those who say, you know what, we want to know more about this, we want to join, and there are those who will volunteer. We just have to make sure that we tell them the application process, or now you've mentioned that they're community leaders, so they can apply via them. Ne?
I would suggest it. Everybody has got leaders in a community, especially Bethlehem, Panaleba, Tuba, Bayapil. They are walking in front. It doesn't mean that if you're not going through that, we won't facilitate. We are with the police. The guys are doing background checks. We do know that there might be a person trying to get into the Neighborhood Watch to try and get information on how is the dealings done, what can we do. You'll be exploited. You'll be flushed out very quickly. And we realize that our criminals are much less than we thought in the start. So anybody that wants to join in that, contact me. I'll provide you with a telephone number as well, and we can start to facilitate it. We don't know what number of people will be interested. Might it be 5? Might it be 100? How will we facilitate it? We haven't discussed why we're not involved in Botlekong. Do you know that we are 2 towns in terms of police?
Yes.
All right, so Bethlehem and Botlekong. Botlekong is not a satellite station anymore. It's a full-blown police station. I think there's a new location being given where a good police or bigger police station will be built. But I mean, we are 2 police stations. We are Sector 1 in Bethlehem. It includes Vogelfontein, Barkham Park.
That's part of Bethlehem.
It's part of Bethlehem. Yes.
And then the others are part of Botlekong.
Botlekong, which means our CPF, our executive CPF, they are all only for the town of Bethlehem, connected to the station Bethlehem, under Station Commander Madonzela. From there, they've got the different branches. So this is the reason why we did not work. We do a lot of assistance in Botlekong. We know the station commander there very well. She knows she can press on our button at any time, and we will assist. But we would like to see the involvement of a neighborhood watch in Botlekong.
We need it.
Yes.
You wanted to ask about the drones and the equipment.
You know, I had
curious about that.
I'm curious about the equipment, how you guys work, the equipment that you use, because there's been a lot of successful stories. Some are like big, like you would hear about guns and what, like, okay, I thought we were just chasing criminals who were stealing gate motors. Now we have people who are stealing stock theft. Obviously, you cannot go and steal stock theft with a knife.
Yes.
Those are armed people most of the time.
Absolutely.
We see all our equipment as force multipliers. It is the equipment that allows us to have the edge on the criminal. The criminal knows it, and they know that they can also have equipment. They are driving around with jammers. We've got counterparts for that. They are hiding at night. We have counterparts for that. Equipment that we have includes thermal imaging, drones that we can fly in the night. We've got trained pilots. These are all volunteers. People
Big
that
drones,
have
we're not talking about the small DJI's drones here.
both big, small. We've got involvement of fixed air wing that are being provided by private companies. Osmond Aviation has supplied us
Thank you.
with aircraft in cases of stock theft, where people from the Kingdom of Lesotho came to take stock towards Lesotho. You know the mountains. Those of you who don't know the mountains, that is not easy.
So an aircraft was used
A lot of times. We have no choice.
from Osmond
So,
Aviation.
yes.
We'd like to thank them. They
Yes.
must get credit. You know, people who are
Absolutely.
involved in making change in
Yes.
our community must get credit. They do deserve it. You know, sometimes, even if they're not doing it for recognition, but they must be recognized. They
Yes.
must be thanked here and there.
So all of our equipment are sponsored through private persons, through businesses. We get the equipment that we buy. We use the equipment as a force multiplier on how to catch a criminal. We also use it in the assistance of EMS, search and rescue. We've used it to locate people that are hurt in the mountains where we had to carry them down. So it's not only crime. Our equipment that we try to build up is for the protection of our members. We train them to know the law, but we also train them once an armed robbery is taking place on how to assist the police. We hope we never have to lose a friend from the hands of a criminal. So we train hard, and we believe that we're getting stronger and stronger. We hope that in the near future, Bethlehem is off limits for any serious crimes. We'll continue to battle the petty crimes in our town to stop those criminals becoming more serious criminals. But we hope our vision for this town from safety side is our town's off limits. We hate to show teeth, but we're not scared to show it. And that includes the police. And we are incorporating extra training for our members to be able to look after themselves and to look after the police. These are the people that we support.
So now I believe what we need to do, the conclusion would be that we'll have to make this thing get going so that people can join, can apply and join. We'll just make sure that it's written at a later stage, or maybe this week, so that they can know how. We'll post it on Bethlehem Neighborhood so that they can know how to join and how to participate. Because
get an action plan together
Yes.
and on how to facilitate this.
we
Yeah.
need to do that. Now, the big crime, now what we need to do, because we're going to have these people that are addicted to drugs that will be still doing these crimes. They're never going to stop, because their addiction, unfortunately, does not allow them to stop. Even if they try, so it's very hard to even quit those drugs. We have people. I met a guy who quit, and I couldn't believe it. I was very emotional. I'm like, I thank God that you quit smoking that, because it's dangerous. Now, the drug dealers, we have to stop the drug houses.
Yes.
It's difficult to do that, but that's the main one. And the scrapyards that are buying stolen goods.
Yes.
We need to identify those scrapyards. We would really appreciate if you guys could help with that. Identify those scrapyards, find those scrapyards, find ways to close them. It's not easy. We know there are some that are still operating, although the police have went there several times. But unfortunately, they don't really have concrete evidence that can put those people behind bar and get those scrapyards closed. But if we could work together, at the end, we'll be able to achieve the right results. Of course, we want to see crime being reduced, like we've seen things happening in Bethlehem.
We have seen two ways that people are selling. They are selling it to ourselves. A very big part of our problem in town is that we create the market. When you're driving downtown and somebody comes with a toolbox that is worth 10,000 rand and he offers to sell it to you for 500.
That's very true.
A lot of people in this economic problem that we have now in our town
Buys
it. And if we could stop that, a lot of people have started now. When that happens, they ask the guy, please stay here. I just want to make sure. And they suddenly phone us. And we rush to that scene where we find that person, and a lot of them are arrested. If everybody does that, there is no market being created amongst ourselves. That includes the second-hand dealers. That includes the scrapyard. We are involved. We are looking at a lot of the scrapyards. We are following guys when they are stealing items and they are taking to the scrapyard to sell it. It is difficult. Just to tell you, we followed the one guy to one of the scrapyards. They take your valued item, let's say a copper pot in your house. Before they take it in, they smash it to smithereens. And once they get there, they are not scared to stand in front of a camera. They are not scared to give their ID. And they say they found this in the dustbins. So it is not a clear case where you can just say, this is the stolen item, please close this business.
Yeah, but again, with the owners also, they must also be involved. Because now, if you own a scrapyard, I've went to a lot of scrapyards. They've seen me. They know I've been there. To all the alleged scrapyards that they say, okay, maybe we suspect. Sometimes when you get there, you'll see, okay, it's nothing. But there are some that have went and say, no, but guys, you can see this thing is stolen.
Yes.
Like when someone comes with 20 taps inside a bag, say, okay, here's 20 taps, copper taps that we know exactly that have been stolen. Or are being stolen in the township. Now someone brings those 20 taps and then you take them and you don't think that they are stolen.
No.
That
You're complicit. You're complicit.
Yeah, and I would like to bring this whole thing back to a theme that's important if we want to change a community. You are not being paid for the neighborhood watch. You and the whole force. We will have to put ourselves second. Not buy something for 10,000 rand less of the value. Put yourself second in order for us to change this community. People will use their time away from families, away from business, not being paid, but at the end of the day, a flourishing town that is safe will mean a better investment. Your investments will grow. So I think we're at a place where, and I just wanted to bring in that theme that we have to know, we can say, I pay tax, the police must do it, or I do this. But we're at a place where that is not what is happening. So we need neighborhood watch. We need people that, work on the town, raising funds, there's so many initiatives going on and that we still want to utilize. But I think the main thing that I get from this is put yourself second in order for our community to thrive, in order for our town to be healed again, safe again, for ourselves and for the generations to come.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's true. So just another thing that I think it was actually here on one of my questions. We've had, of course, the community. Another thing that makes it difficult for them to be working with the police, they are not happy with our Major General, Mr. Twedezi. they are not really happy with him. They believe that somehow he does inconvenience the police, or he gives orders that the police must not work and stuff. Of course, those are allegations. No one has proof of that. We've never had that. But I don't know, what have you guys had as the neighborhood watch? Have you ever had any difficulties with our general, or he has been very helpful, things have been right? And how can we combat this? Because now, at the end of the day, we still need the police. We need the police, like you said, to fight these crimes, because we cannot do it alone. Because the law does include police in everything that we need. If you need to solve crimes, the police must be involved. I just need your advice when it comes to everything that has to do with this thing and people not wanting the general and everything.
It's always a difficult question when somebody asks you about the top rank of a force or of an institution. Yes, when we started the neighborhood watch, we heard a lot of rumors concerning our general, Totsetsi. I know from my 8 years in the police that it is incredibly difficult to judge a general on the actions of a constable on the ground. He doesn't have a direct line to the constable. And in light of our community's distrust towards the police, we wouldn't expect anything less than people holding our general, current general, responsible for this. I may only say this to you. I've met him. I've been in meetings where he is, and I can tell you without a doubt, he's not strict. He's very strict. We know that there are a lot of officers that doesn't like him very much. When I sat in the meeting, he was incredibly strict on what he wants, on what needs to be done. I can tell you this. He understands the elements of being a policeman through and through. There is no way that you could bypass him by giving him an off answer. He knows what he wants, and although people don't like him, we did realize that this was a person that commanded respect from everybody in the room where we sit. We did ask ourselves, we did hear about the community asking that our General Totsetsi must be replaced. And we asked ourselves, we do ask ourselves in the neighborhood watch, what will it change? If we replace him with the best general in the world, what will change between a member of the community who doesn't trust the police? What must the general tell the police to increase their efficiency? If the community do not work with the police are redundant. They will not be successful, no matter who gives the orders. It is so that we wished, we hoped, we said from all the stations that a general commands, we wish that he would have been in love with our town. I hoped, and I still hope, that from all his stations, that he will feel proudest of Bethlehem, that he will do the utmost to give us the best equipment, the best cars, the best equipment for our police members. How to ask that of a general, I can't even answer. Is he involved in anything? You said, like you said before, we don't even communicate that about a criminal that we catch until the court has let the hammer fall. And when that guy walks out, we still shake his hand and say, you're part of us, but we've got our eye on you. We understand the frustration of the public, where it exactly comes from, and who of them know the general really by heart to understand it. We can't comment on that. We can only tell you this.
It's difficult.
We were in meetings with the general. It can't be easy for the general to speak to members of public. When I was in the police force, I did not speak to a general. When I was a constable in the police force, when a general walked in, you stood up, you apologized yourself, and you got out. It must be difficult for a general not to be loved for any person. I can only tell you this. He understands how to be a policeman. Why he's not loved, I won't comment on that. I don't understand it. There was nothing that we saw that raises our eyebrows to say that he's involved. And I explained it the other day when a public member asked me, and and we must talk straight about that. They said he's involved. He is protecting this person. While they also know that the constable who is working on it is not very fond of him, if I may answer that. There is no policeman that I've worked with in the town of Bethlehem that will be influenced by a call from any officer, be he a general or a colonel.
But he can give orders, right?
He can. But if he gives an order that would make that person not do his job, he will be exposed immediately. The elements of making an arrest is very clear and very easy defined. From there it goes to a detective. Our detectives, we know them. We know the shift commanders. We work with them for 3 years. There's not one of them that will receive a call from a colonel to say, hey, would you mind changing a docket
They'll
here?
expose it immediately.
It will never happen. And that I can say with confidence. And when I went through this discussion to say, if it is not really possible for a colonel or a general to influence our members, the members that I know, that I work with, then it is not, in my opinion, possible for this general to be corrupt in these cases. Then there must be a different reason for not being loved. There's a last thing, just to explain something. People are asking when they're walking into the station and they make a complaint. Then the policeman behind the counter in the charge office or in the community center refuses to take such a complaint. What the reasons might be, they immediately phone the station commander to say, Colonel Madonzela, please phone now and instruct this man to open the case, which is placing her in an incredibly difficult situation. I was there. I was serving behind the desk. When a captain phones me, I'll ask him, Captain, once you want me to open this, would you mind coming to the station? Come and open this docket. I cannot open it. This is a civil matter. It cannot be opened. By phoning the commander because you are dissatisfied with a person, and a lot of them is because the emotions are very high. Walk into the police station at any given time. And these are people that we've been working with for 3 years. Complainants walk in after they've been exposed to some sort of violence or crime. When they walk in there, and there's a line of 30 people sitting there waiting to have an affidavit stamped, this person is furious.
Yes.
By just standing up and saying, Captain, Sergeant, I have a life-threatening emergency. I've never seen them show you away. They immediately take the case. But by that person walking in there being very emotional, and they start shouting at the policeman, that policeman immediately say, stop shouting, I'll chase you out of the charge
Yeah, it's the
office.
same intent, but it's a different way of handling it.
And
there.
we've asked the community in Bethlehem, if that happens, and I'll make an example. An old man, 72 years old, last week, was robbed of his money at Nedbank with a blue polo. He hung on to the door. They dragged him down the street until that door handle broke, and that old man fell in the tar road. Our members were there. They picked him up. The security was there. Our neighborhood watch was there, and we patched him up. Now we're taking this man to the charge office. He is very emotional. He lost every cent, and we understand the emotions. Before he goes in, our members would go and say, we need immediate assistance to this man. He's not sitting in a line. And they immediately gave him the assistance. So we try and be that link between an emotional person and the policeman who doesn't know why this person comes in emotional. So we try and also be that link that assists the public. And we would like to continue with that. It is difficult. It is difficult where people are telling you the police don't want to help me. And afterwards, when they tell you...
Or they don't trust the general.
We've made a decision. We have stopped complaining about what we've heard. It's so easy to talk about the police. We started talking with the police. If we have a complaint and we have somebody that's not satisfied, we discuss it with the police, not with each other about the police. And we have realized that we've got an incredible force of police in Bethlehem.
I'm sitting here and I'm actually thinking I'm ashamed. I don't even know what a general or a I don't even know the names. The the kernel, what it looks like, what it is, and I think, stupid thing is there's little things that we can also start to
just as long as we
know
realize
our people and respect them for who and what they are. It's important.
They are us. They are us. I'm a civil engineer, but I'm also working in safety. There's a father who is a sergeant in the K9 unit. He's still a father. He's still part of us. When he's off duty, he walks among us.
So basically now, what you were saying, because the reason why we're here is we want to understand how you guys did it in Bethlehem so that we can do it in Butlukon. So working together with the police.
Yes.
Respecting our police.
Yes.
Police also working together with the community.
Yes.
Yeah. Like if we could join with the police, make them trust us and trust them. And I believe that's just how
fix that relationship.
Fix the relationship because it's messed up.
3 years ago, I would have told you it's my honest belief. Where I'm standing you now, I'm telling you it is true. When you do the effort to work with the police, they work with you. And you get incredible results.
And again, there's different police officers. There's different characters in police.
Yes.
I've experienced it myself. I'll be there with my media tech, and when I get there, they're just arrogant. Like, they don't, like, okay, there's a way to talk to them. Like, oh, no, you're not supposed to go over there. Okay, so it's okay. Like, hey, you don't, like, why are you saying that? Why are you shouting me? So if our police also can have that. We're not saying police should be polite with criminals and say, hi, why did you steal this guy's phone? No, we don't want that, of course. Police should be, we understand the police, how they have to behave, but they must also not abuse power. Because that's another problem that we have in South Africa. We've seen police abuse power. There's a video that was trending now, which where a police officer was, I don't know whether he was drunk or what, driving. He hit a car, he didn't stop. He got arrested now. He was on the highway. Someone was taking a video. He was driving recklessly and he hit a car. He just went straight. He never stopped until they followed him and they caught him somewhere else. Now our police need to also, if they can change this, in our country, because I hate to see when foreigners disrespect our police officers.
Yes.
I understand how you respect the uniform of the police. You respect our SAPS, and we need that respect. We should respect our SAPS members, and but it starts with them also. It's not only the community members. For the community members to respect them, they must also behave in a certain manner, I believe. But it's going to take time. And with the one of the general, I think, because the people are there's something happening there instead of tomorrow. So I think if our people, because they want to take the general, they believe they can be able to take him out. If they fail to do that, and we still have him as our general, then we would have to find ways to make a good relationship with him. I don't know if we'll be able to meet up with him and stuff and try to understand what's going on, because why we have so many police officers who feel like we don't like the general. And even in soccer teams, we've seen if the team players don't like the coach, unfortunately the team is going to keep on losing because they want to make the coach look bad. So our police officers are not going to be working at high force because they feel like, I don't like my job because of the certain individual. So as much as we won't be able to solve that, but if we could have a good relationship with him, so that, I don't know, let's just wait and see what will happen. But
we asked ourselves, all our neighborhood watch and the police that we're working with, there's a different mindset. The police don't work for the general. They work for you. They work for me. They work for you. I serve you, and you, and you. And that is the beauty of the police. That we don't work for a general. He gives orders on how he believes we must conduct ourselves. But we work for the public. When I was in the force, I work for the public.
Do you think the police in Bethlehem feel the way you do?
I don't doubt it. I would invite anybody to come and join in the Sector 1 Police Forum meeting, whereby our station commander is sitting with us, whereby any community member may raise any concern. Come and hear the hearts of the police. Come and hear how we brainstorm on what is the right way forward. Come and hear it. Come and hear the hearts of the police. And then form your own opinion. Don't form it because I said so. I really believe that it is the hearts of our police in town. Yes.
No, I think now the most questions have been answered, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just understand now that this will work. We'll have our neighborhood watch. We'll have our community members understanding that the police are very important. We need them. We'll have our police also. I believe they will see that, okay, our community now is starting to welcome us. Because the community we're at the point where they don't even expect the police to be the first responders. And we understand it's also a lack of equipment.
Yes.
So our politicians also must make sure that the equipment is there. The cars are there. We need vehicles that are there to patrol. We need that are there to respond to crimes.
Yes.
That's what we need. Because you will hear that, well, we only have one vehicle. At that time, you can hear sounds inside your yard. You can tell that there's a person definitely inside my yard, or there's someone in my garage. Is this person going to steal my car? What's happening?
Yeah, and these are the type of conversations we want to have. It's not just safety, it's water, it's electricity, it's everybody is so fed up. But we have 1,000 reasons to be negative, or we can take on 1,000 reasons to say, we can change it. We have leaders in our community. We have means to turn this around. It will not happen overnight. In 5 years, we could be a healthy community, safe, united. But it starts here, and like you say, it's the whole circle. But
for those who are watching there, for those who are watching there at home, we'll just 5 minutes for you to ask questions before we conclude this very beautiful interview, and we appreciate your time, of course. If you have any questions, you can just send it in the comment section, please. If you want to ask anything, you want to ask Mr. Steyn anything, please ask that question, and if he can answer it, he will definitely do so. But we appreciate this interview is very important, Susan. It's very important, and I believe it will bring change in our community. Safety, people will start to feel safe again, because it's no longer safe. I don't think I could walk at 10 p.m. from town to Botlhokong, where I stay. It's very dangerous.
No, and the children. I'm also a teacher in the community. You want the children to be safe.
That's true.
In Botlhokong, in Balkenpark, wherever. It's so important. Safety does really come first. Interesting question with the Sesotho. I honestly feel that all of us should speak each other's languages. Do you think, Afrikaans, English, Sotho, we are a family, we're a rainbow nation. We should start to do that. Do you think knowing Sesotho has helped you in the way that you approach things?
A lot. I had a teacher in the mountains close to Putadijaba that always said to me, speak to a guy, you'll speak to his mind, speak its language, and you'll speak to his heart. Once you speak to people in their language, I believe they open up a lot more towards you. You understand a lot more towards them.
It's not just the language, you understand the culture.
It's not. The culture is different. There are funny stories while we're waiting for the comments or for comments. Is the way that a Sotho officer would approach somebody in the, if I may call it, the white neighborhoods, whereby we walk to the door, we knock your door down, we almost knock too hard. If we don't find you, we shout, "Hey, is there somebody here?" This is not the culture of the Sotho. This is not the way to pay respect. They would lay back. When we go into Lesotho, when I go with the police and the military in Lesotho to the mountains, it was quite strange in the beginning. When you go up into those villages, you high up, you are tired beyond belief, and then you don't go to the house. You wait here in plain sight until the owner of the house tells you, come in, we will talk. It is respect to do it in that way. Now, just that resulted in quite a bit of conflict here. And by understanding that we've got two cultures, very good cultures, peaceful cultures, that are different, helped me quite a bit to understand. I'm very grateful that I could grow up the way I did by understanding, and I don't understand everything, but at least my heart is open and the guys know it.
And I think we should inspire each other to learn each other's languages out of respect.
And not just languages, culture.
Yes.
Understand.
That's just the start, hey?
It is just the start, yes. And only phrases. A lot of the neighborhood watch guys, because we work with a lot of Sotho policemen, and when they're talking to each other, A lot of our neighborhood guys are picking up. We laugh at them for the pronunciation.
Lina, que wat sê was is toe. Brahanya ni vela.
We have good laughs, yeah. But yes, I would agree that by understanding each other's languages and each other's hearts, we connect. Yes. True.
So what would you tell the community of Bokhlekong in their language? If you had a chance now to say something out of your own, without a question or whatever.
Kitla wajwetse tusana watu. Batu baba hulu. Harbatla batu baba hulu bata. Where we are living, we don't want our elderly, our weak to be scared. They must know how pamafonia how. We will answer. We will come. And when I'm saying we, it's all of us good people. And we started fading away. We are the majority. The good people in this town are by far the majority. So I look forward to helping each other. And we hope we can be successful. And we'll make plenty of mistakes. But we won't stop.
I believe it doesn't seem like we have questions, except people are asking how to join, and we'll make that available at a later stage. They will know the process of how to join, how to apply, and everything. And I guess we'll get back to them again, but we'll make sure that that's available.
Wonderful. I think our community is in a better place when it's informed, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to inform about so many things. Safety first, so yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for giving us the opportunity, and we look forward.
Yeah, and we honor the time that you guys put in. It is such a selfless act, and it's for all of us, so thank you.
At home, thank you very much for watching Bethlehem News Sport. And this is just the beginning of it. Of course, step by step, we will get there. Make sure that our town becomes a diverse town. Diversity, that's what we want. Culture diversity, language diversity, safe town. Service delivery, of course, is another big thing. We are aware of the bad service delivery that is happening. And I was even at the municipal offices. We're just not going to sit down and watch our cars getting in potholes, no water, no generators not being taken seriously. Those are also some of the things that we'll be focusing on and making sure that we change them. But up to here, thank you very much, Mr. Steyn. Thank you, Susan. And
thank you.
There will be more interviews like this.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.